Hi everyone, this is Jeff with megamixing.com. Today we're going to be talking about adding fades, fading in, fading out, and crossfades. But more importantly, we're going to talk about doing it to multiple regions at a time. Many of you may know how to add fades in, and it can be very time consuming if you're just adding one fade at a time to these regions. These are called regions here. And for starters, let's talk about adding fading out. In this one clip here, you'll hear the vocals. They're saying, "You want to go what?" And right after the what, you can hear how it clips hard right in this area here. So let's just give this a listen.
You want to go what? You want to go what?
Now, I can even emphasize that a little bit more by let's just cut off the vocal altogether, and it'll have a nice clipping sound that we typically would not desire at the end of this. Well, let's just listen to it.
You want to go what? You want to go what?
Okay, so if we highlight both these regions, and then we go up into the corner of Logic here, where it says region, you click on this drop down arrow and it's going to open up the fade properties. And right here on the fader, it's set to fade in. Okay, so if you double click there, you can add in the size of the fade that you want to fade in. In this case, we're going to be fading out. So go to fade out, and I want you to watch right over here what happens to this region. You can see the fade applied to this region when I add it over here. For our purposes, so you can see everything, I'm going to add in a large fade. I'm going to add in a fade of 1000, which is a large fade. And just watch the blue regions over there when I hit the enter button. Okay, you can see a fade was automatically added. And what happens now, if I play this, listen to how it fades out.
You want to go what? You want to go what?
So that's a very large fade. I typically wouldn't advise that, but I just wanted to show you how you can add those in. For a fade like this, for something this, what I'm trying to accomplish, if I was just trying to have it fade out immediately after the vocal, I would probably just have a fade that's at about 25. And watch the size of that change when I hit the return key. Okay, you can't really see it. It's sort of on the edge there. If I come up over here and I just make the screen a little bigger on that region, and then I come over to this region again, you'll be able to see that small fade right there. That's the 25 I just added. And now we can go ahead and give that a listen.
You want to go what?
It just cuts out nice and clean. Right after the word what, there's no clip, there's no tick noise, no pops. It just cuts out nice and clean.
You want to go what?
And that's what we're trying to accomplish. So there's an example for fading out. Fading in would be the exact same thing, except this time you're going to click on fade in. And right over here, you can see where you may have a need to fade in. If I were to go ahead and take a look at this here, I'm going to go over to this side right over here where we clicked on that drop down window for the regions. I'm going to double click on fade in right here and change this to 25. And you will see that over here, that fade in was added right there. Okay, you can see that slight white area where the fade in was created. And that'll allow for any abrupt noises in the beginning of the recording. The last thing I wanted to show you was adding a crossfade. Again, where two fades come together. In this case, we just added a fade in. So what I'm going to do is highlight these two. I'm going to come over to here and take that fade in and just get rid of that. I'll make that 0. And while we're at that, let me show you another way to do that. Let's put that back to 25. And if I come up here, what I can do is, well, I'm going to have to expand this since the fade is so small. We'll expand this so we can see the fade a little bit more. And then I control click on the fade, and I have the option to remove the fade right there. So I click remove fade and it's gone. Okay, that's another way to get rid of that. But what I want to do now is select both of these regions where they join and come over here, and where it says fade out, you see type is out. Well, I can change that, and I can change that to a crossfade that you hear so much about. You add the crossfade, and now what it's going to do is it is going to begin a fade on this region and end it on this region. Depending on the size of the fade, you'll fade in somewhere around here. It'll blend the two where they join together, and then it'll fade out somewhere around here. So I'll go over here, and again, for our purposes, I'll do a large one just so you can see it. I've got the type set to X, that's a crossfade, and then I'll make this 500. And I hit that, and you can see that that is a huge crossfade that has been applied to that region. It starts way over here, begins its blend, ends there, and starts blending back into the other region here. Obviously, like I said, that is a massive fade. I typically wouldn't want one that big, so I'm going to go over here and just make this a smaller one. Usually I work at about 25 when I'm working with crossfades also. I hit that, and it puts a nice tidy fade for us right there. And that allows for a good blend when the two regions come together. Again, one more example I'd like to show you working with a lot of regions just to give you an idea of how this can go for you. I'm going to highlight all of these vocal regions right here and just listen to the beginning of these vocals coming in.
And I can see what you're doing to me.
Okay, so the very beginning here, there's a bit of a clip when the music comes in. And what I want to do is I want to eliminate some of that clipping noise. So I want to add a fade in to all these regions right here. So what I do is I highlight all of them, and then I go back over to the inspector here, and in this window, I go to the fade in, and I'm going to double click there and watch the beginning area of these regions right here, right along this border. Again, watch what happens when I type in a numerical value. The fade is immediately added to all of them. This should really speed up your workflow. Let me know if you have any questions about adding fades, crossfades, fading in, fading out. I'd be happy to address them for you. Again, I'm Jeff with megamixing.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer them for you. And until my next video, thank you.